Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, Attack 12, however you call me, I don't really care. And first and foremost, Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you are enjoying the holiday season. Today is the 23rd of December. I know Christmas is not upon us yet. There are still a few hours or one day actually missing. And then we'll have, you know, the family fest. And I hope you guys will be enjoying. Stay healthy, enjoy World of Tanks, and have a great new year as well. So, first and foremost, today we're going to be covering a preview that World of Tanks have just released for 2018, where they are showing off the things that they're planning for the oncoming next year. Actually, just for the beginning. I think this is just March. So it's very exciting stuff that is coming our ways. There's going to be a video, as you can see right here. I will link it in my description. I will link some other things in my description as well, as I always do. And yeah, let's get right into it because it's really, really exciting. So you guys probably have heard of Wargaming Fest 2017. There was a tank fest that was happening in Moscow, since they are based in Belarus. They aren't based in Russia exactly, but Belarus, and they have close ties to Russia, obviously. Excuse me. And thus they had a big fest like BlizzCon and stuff like that, where they showed off the new things coming for World of Tanks. And one of those new things is the new graphics engine that we will be seeing very, very shortly, in about 3 months. In March they will release this new engine. But before we get to the engine, I think a very nice and interesting part that they have actually put in here is regarding matchmaking. I know a lot of people are not happy with matchmaking yet, and one of the things that they want to improve with is coming very, very soon. And that thing being, This year's seen us fix the game's core, resolving long-standing issues with Matchmaker, arty and light tanks, and revising vehicles to establish unique gameplay narratives for classes within each nations. So this has already happened. Artillery has been completely reworked, thank God. They're still quite annoying, but I think it's better than before. And now there are some changes and improvements that they want to make, most importantly being premium vehicles and tier 8 matchmaking, since tier 8 is the tier that is being played most and is, I think, the most radical change from tier 8 to tier 9 that you can have in the game. Like, I know tier 5 to tier 6 is not as crazy. Tier 6 to tier 7 though is pretty, it's a pretty big change. But I think tier 8 to tier 9 is a huge change. And if you're going up against tier 9 and tier 10 vehicles, especially if you have a premium vehicle, it is really, really annoying. And since we have a ton of tanks in World of Tanks now, especially many tier 8 vehicles, many tier 8 premium tanks, it's really difficult for Matchmaker to get it all together, you know, and to be fair for people who maybe are in a tank that doesn't really suit tier 10 matchmaking or tier 9 matchmaking at all. So I think that is a great move to finally fix this issue, and maybe, you know, I don't think they can completely fix it, but they can at least make it better. They can take a little bit away of this huge mess that we have. So if we take a look at the contents, new graphics engine, redesigned maps, new sound, optimization for your hardware, and World of Tanks Encore. What that is, we will see after we get there. So yeah, the new engine. They have a new engine. It's called Core, and this new engine has been in the works for 4 years. 4 years in the making, and it will bring very, very new textures. If you have looked at the new maps, you'll see the new engines. There's completely new physics in it. You can destroy things now. It looks really cool. Like in the video, you'll see a water tower that gets shot and it collapses. And it looks really realistic. It's not going to be, you know, you just drive over this hedge and it's going to disappear. So it's going to be much, much better. And before they use the big world client, unfortunately, it's 2017. They started, I think I'm not sure when they started with the production of this game, but it was before 2010. 2010 was the release of the closed beta, and by that time already, I think the engine was, at least it was very, very nice for wall of tanks. It worked. I mean, most of the people got some good performance out of it, but still it has gotten a little bit old now, and the performance is not as great as it used to be. People with older rigs maybe have much more problems with a much more defined engine. This big world engine has been overworked in the last few years over and over again to add, you know, higher fidelity, high definition tanks, and that has probably just not been very preferential or good for people with bad hardware that is maybe not the highest standard, not the high end tier. So that is their plan. Much like we all do in battle, we need to plan a few steps ahead. In our case, it'll call for a solution that would support the latest technological advancements while having enough capacity to let us advance graphics in tandem with it. Also, we needed a technology tailored to Wall of Tanks. Hardly any graphics engine, both now and then, would fit these three requirements. So we brought client development in-house, created something specifically for Wall of Tanks, and named it for what it was, core, as it is literally at the core of everything you see in the game. So they completely made this entire graphics engine to fit just to Wall of Tanks, because other studios didn't have the technology that was needed for Wall of Tanks. And I think it's really nice. I had like 100 FPS, 120 FPS on average on the highest settings in Wall of Tanks while playing on the new maps. So it was really, really well balanced for me. I'm not sure if it's for everyone, but I had a big increase in FPS. I never really had an issue with FPS. I still have about 70 to 80 FPS, so that's more than enough. But, you know, 110, it shows you that, for me at least, it gets increased. So it should increase for the most people, or most of the people. What might look simple on paper definitely wasn't that way in real life. It took our team 3 years to make it, except 3 years, and another year was needed to overhaul the game's map, recreating all in-game content for the ground up using the latest technology for graphical content processing and rendering. So this is, I think, the biggest change that is coming in the next year in March. I'm very happy for it. I'm very happy for the next thing. Finally, we're getting redesigned maps. Maps that will finally look like they should, what they should look like in 2017. And you can see what they all changed. Terrain textures, a water rendering system, skyboxes, a lighting system, shadows. We went over every single map element, redesigning them to add greater depth, beauty, and realism to battlefields. Each map now has distinguished flair and provides even deeper immersion thanks to a variety of new and improved technologies and side effects. So yeah, if you have watched my video on the map, if you haven't, I will link it in the description. You'll see very, very nice, beautiful, new or old maps that look completely new. So vast expanses, we designed miles upon miles of outland so you can see beyond the map's border like you would in the real world. This is very nice because previously there were like some mountains, there was the end of the map and there was nothing behind it. Most of the time there was like water at the edges so that you couldn't go further than that. And I mean, they could kind of fill it out with blank stuff. But now they really have like big skyboxes and whatever. They added like huge mountains and you actually do see them, and it means the map feels much more immersed. It feels much more like a part of a place, like a real place somewhere, and not just a map, like a multiplayer map. And I think that is what they are trying to achieve, and they have really, really managed to achieve that. So realistic terrain, the new graphics engine let us blend 16 textures so that the terrain looks truly volumetric, detailed down to the smallest blades of grass. I think previously it was only like 3 or 4 textures, and they just placed them over each other to you know make a little bit of a variety, but you know that was not enough. So 16 textures, great improvement. Soaking and responsive water. Now, I don't think I have to read that out. You've seen it when you drive with your tank into like a water source. It comes out as wet, and it's so cool. It's so cool. It's really cool, and I really enjoy it. Rich volumetric flora. Flora has been increased. Different images, like different flora has been added into the game. Like their lush colors, their beautiful little bushes with, you know, their pink vibes because they're like pink flowers. It looks super cool. Just watch the video, you'll see in there. Photorealistic skies, as I already mentioned, the skybox is looking much better. Advanced lighting. Lighting makes a huge difference in games. If you use it in the correct way, you can make a game engine that is maybe much older look a lot better. And I think they have done that to an extent, to the limit in the old engine, and now with the new engine that they have created and they can still work upon, you know, add layers on stuff upon this engine, I think they can just make it even better. So destructible objects, as already mentioned, the reworked maps get long-awaited havoc destruction technology, so now you can gloriously crash environments, rolling over them as you rumble into battle. Yes, it's really cool. You can drive through a house, the house collapses on top of you completely, and that's so cool. Post effects, bloom, god rays, chromatic aberrations, screen space, reflection effects, improve image quality and clarity of detail. Yes, I've noticed that. And what I have also noticed, what people haven't really said or haven't promoted, is when you shoot a tank and there's like the hole in the hull, you can actually see how big the hole is. It looks much better, not like this painted over 2D hole that we all know when you shoot a tank, and it looks really cool. So then we have the 18 different maps. We can just zip right through them, like 18 different screenshots of the map. And to be honest, these screenshots here don't do them justice, but what you can see is the end of the map. There is like terrain. It doesn't feel like it's a map. It feels like it's an actual location. And that's where they have, I think, really succeeded. Now, the city doesn't seem to be looking that crazy. The houses do look really detailed. But you have to, once again, you have to be there. And you have to play the maps. I think the desert maps look so cool with those abandoned castles there. And this looks like an old school map. This looks like the one map that they actually did. Oh yeah, I know which map it is. Abbey, obviously, it's that giveaway in the middle, but damn, it looks like, really looks really cool. So yeah, I think that's where the people are looking, what the people are looking forward to. I think this is the new map, Klondike, that is being also reworked. It has been released. It's the big battle mode. Then we have this map. I completely forgot about the name. I forget the names of the maps very easily, but it's like a castle on top. Ah, so cool. So cool. Like, this could be anywhere in Switzerland. Looks very, very, very nice. It's a lake river. You can see the lake in the middle, then the city on the right hand side. This passage. This is you still notice it, you know, Himmelsdorf with the castle on top. Then we have this big, huge shit map that people don't like. Well, I do enjoy it now. It's what was it called again? Runeberg? No, it's not Runeberg. It's, yeah, you get the idea. This is Runeberg. I completely forgot about the name. And this could actually be some German town during World War II, because of all the blimps in the air, you know, to protect from air raids. And then there's like this structure in the back, which looks like a bunker, which they used in, which they actually built in Berlin. I'm not even sure. The zoo, like the zoo station, they had this one huge bunker with like a shit ton of amount of 88mm flak on top. So yeah, it was the jail as well, I think. And then we have Malinovka, obviously. So yeah, very big changes. And we have just covered the maps and the engine that is coming. Then remastered sound. Sound does make a huge difference in a game. Huge difference for atmosphere. I mean, obviously, visuals are very important, but if you get the perfect harmony between visuals and audio, and you can get them to harmonize together, it's really cool. So we're getting new music, so we can actually read this out, because I'm not entirely sure what it's all about. The enhancement didn't end with visuals. We teamed up with over 40 composers and musicians from all around the world and recorded over 15 terabytes or rough audio data to improve your immersion in battle with authentic sound. Starting with update 1.0, music will resonate with the map setting, creating a unique atmosphere for each battlefield. Kazakh musician will play traditional music instrument as you roll out over Lost City. Arab composers will bring their musical aesthetic to Sand River Airfield and El Halouf. Gregorian chants will echo on Mountain Pass. You can sense map's unique character well before the action begins with unique loading screen themes. Then the sound will change depending on what's happening to your team in game. So super cool. I'm looking forward to it. I will finally hit the music tab open again and slide it forward. Then optimization. This is very important because if we don't have this fine tuning, it's going to be very difficult for people that are definitely on the side that don't have the highest end computer, the high end computers. So what stopped us from adding new maps and sound the minute they were ready? A few things. First of all, graphical advances naturally up the pressure on your rig, which wasn't in our plans. We put in extra work to optimize stability and frame rates on mid-range and older PCs. Reduce the memory load even further and give you the head room to enable extra effects. A special procedural virtual texture was introduced to deliver realistic landscapes with no added pressure on performance. The adaptive shadow maps technology calculates shadows from static objects and saves them in special reusable shadow texture, reducing the load on graphic card and processor. So as you can see, it's not only that the new engine will provide you with better details, but they will also provide you with better performance, since as you can see, the adaptive shadow maps technology will calculate those stuff early on, and then it will just have to load these things, add it to the memory, maybe your RAM, and it's really cool. So graphical subsystems were reworked using streaming technology to reduce the overall memory footprints of graphics. So this is cool. Less memory use on your graphics card. The heavy on performance reflections generating process was replaced with screen space reflecting algorithms, significantly lowering the load on the graphics card. We implemented multi-resolution particles to smooth out FPS drops when multiple particles effects are being simultaneously rendered on screen. Yeah, so all that I could get out of this, since I'm not the most read person on graphics, is that all the new features that are added in the new engine will actually help you with your performance, even if you're especially if your computer is in the mid or older ranges, because it will allow you to it will take off a lot more of the load off your graphics card, and it will add it onto different other parts, or just since it's optimized, it will be much better at delivering those pictures to your screen without screen tearing and any kind of frame drops when you're having those crazy ass situations where you have like 20 tanks on top of each other all exploding at the same time. So yeah, this is very nice. Besides, it was technically impossible to add redesigned maps in batches. We had to switch to a new engine for it, and it doesn't support old graphics. Now imagine having several maps in rotation and playing them over and over. You'd get sick of them quite soon, regardless how sleek they look. Okay, however, that's all in the past with several optimization iterations, a few internal tests, and another round in Sandbox. Thanks again for joining us there. We're nearing the finish line. We're already 25 maps down and almost ready to go. Almost stands for several more internal and open tests. So this is going to be great. I'll be able to test out the Sandbox server once more, and I'll give you guys some information about that. Then, World of Tanks Encore. Our mission to fine-tune maps and the sound system shouldn't prevent you from exploring the reimagined game. Not to mention how excited we are to let you in and hear your thoughts. That's why we created a special demo program. The World of Tanks Encore. It gives you some early hands-on time with the enhanced visual and music. There's a pre-recorded battle you can replay to look around the redesigned map. While you take in the site, World of Tanks Encore will test your game station and tell you how the overall game will perform on different configurations. So it's nice. This time around, you don't have to test it all out, the configurations on yourself. You don't have to do it manually. You can get Encore and it's all in French right now. Let's put it over to English. And here we can actually, you know what? We're going to test this afterwards. We're going to test Encore and we're going to see what kind of results I'm going to get off my rig. So Encore, we have to install it. It doesn't really take a lot of space, but as you guys know, it's very typical that they download it afterwards. So we're just gonna install Encore real fast, and while we do that, I will give you guys. Okay, I already got it. So I'll give you guys my thoughts on these changes. So as I've mentioned before, I'm a huge World of Tanks fan, and I'm looking forward to all these changes that they're bringing. The new maps look amazing. Wargaming have done an amazing job. The new engine looks cool too, like reducing the stress on your hardware. And then we can obviously not forget the remastered sound. I think remastered sound, it's one of the things people don't really tend to put into perspective, but that sound can really make a huge difference in atmosphere in a game. So I would love to hear you guys' opinion on the changes, and I will download Encore and we'll jump right in and see how it goes. So this is what the screen actually looks like at the beginning. You have this window, and excuse me, you can see that it will look at your graphics card that you have in your computer, and it will give you the graphics. The different settings that you can choose. Like if we put it on medium, if we put it on minimum, it will see, or minimal, it will put these all down, and you can see what we have right here is on ultra. And we're going to test the Encore. We're going to test Encore, and you can see the results afterwards. It's all in German right now, since I do have it in German, but we can change it over to English. It's very nice. You can change it very quickly, and you can see it's the Encore engine right here. I'm not sure if it's in. I hope it's going to be in full screen right now. It's just a. It's just in like a smaller windowed mode. But it's nice that they're doing something like this, you know, to give you a heads up before they even release it. You can see what kind of changes it will have on your system. And you can make direct comparisons to your system right now, because I have amped up everything. I've put everything on high now, or ultra, and I even put in the bushes and, you know, the textures, the lush, the green environment, that you can even see the grass when you're playing. And I usually always disabled the grass because it was so irritating when you were like driving, and then you had like this little ridge line, and there was like so much grass in front of you, and you were in sniper mode. You didn't even see the targets correctly, so I kind of disabled it. But now I've re-enabled it again because I wanted to get the full feel, the full atmosphere, and it's a big difference. So yeah, this is a test. I will just shut up for a second and we'll take a look at the examples and the results in the end. So it's really interesting. You can get a rating for, you know, like the mastery badges. I think they just have something with those badges. And you can see our test result was 23,357 points in the highest performance rating with ultra graphics on. Unfortunately, right now I don't have any idea what that means, how good that is, but I've gotten a decent, very good 140 FPS, like standard setting in that video, and you could see very nicely how a lot of stuff was happening. So yeah, definitely this is going to run a lot smoother than right now on my system, and it's a very nice thing. I will add this Encore in I will add it into the link so you can download it as well. I will add the link into the description, and yeah, that pretty much brings us to a point, to the end. So it's very exciting. Wolf Tanks 2018 starting very strong with the new textures, the new engine, and I'm very excited to see where Wolf Tanks is going from now on. You know, from here on out, what are their big plans? Like, they have gotten really like energetic, and you can feel that they want to improve this game. They want to work with us. They want to have players who play their game, and you can see that they're really enjoying World of Tanks, and it's their game. It's their main game. It's their one game that really just pushed the boundaries so that they could make World of Warplanes. If that one is a good game, we're not sure, but World of Warships obviously people enjoy as well, and they could only do that by making World of Tanks first. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this entire change, and I think you guys should look forward to it as well. So maybe check out the OnForce World of Tanks engine, or this little test software, so you can check out how well your system does. Get a rating. I will post a rating in the description. On the highest settings, 23,357. I do have a very good graphics card in that compartment, so I shouldn't be staggering too far behind. So I should have gotten a very nice rating there. So yeah, what does this leave me with? Well, it leaves me with a final note, and that is, I hope you guys are having a great Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon.